Syakirah binti Muhammad Arifin, and I'm part 3 student from AM2283E. Regarding to our question, first the definitions of fundamental attribution error. The fundamental attribution error is the tendency people have to overemphasize personal characteristics and ignore situational factors in judging others' behavior. Because of the fundamental attribution error, we tend to believe that others do bad things because they are bad people. We are inclined to ignore situational factors that might have played a role. For example, if someone cuts us off while driving, our first thought might be what a jerk, instead of considering the possibility that the driver is rushing someone to the airport. On the flip side, when we cut someone off in traffic, we tend to convince ourselves that we had to do so. We focus on situational factors like being late to a meeting and ignore what our behavior might say about our own character. The next point is the differences between primacy effect and also the recency effect. Primacy effect can be described as the ability to remember or recall the initial items in a list of items. In psychology, it is an involuntary mental bias due to which a person retains information presented first more than the ones presented later on. Primacy effect often affects the decision-making process at organization. For example, Mr. X joined an organization recently. On his very first day at the office, his supervisor, Mr. Y, saw him playing games on his phone. X had not been assigned any work, so in his idle time, he was playing on his own device without disturbing anyone around and ignoring any tasks. But Y, in his mind, had already branded X as the employee who plays games at work hours and thus is not serious enough about the work assigned to him. Other examples are team performance. Teamwork can also be affected by primacy effect. The first impression of a new team member can create a preconceived notion about them among the rest of the team members. This too can work out both way, good and bad. Next is the recency effect. Recency effect is the negative to primacy effect. The recency effect occurs when the most recent information dominates our perception. This perceptual bias is most common when people, especially those with limited experience, are making an evaluation involving complex information. For instance, auditors must digest large volumes of information in their judgment about financial documents, and most recent information received prior to the decision tends to get weighted more heavily than information received at the beginning of the audit. Similarly, when supervisors evaluate the performance of employees over the previous year, the most recent performance information dominates the evaluation because it is the most easily recalled. The next point will be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Hello, my name is SHAFIQIN and today I will talk about the differences between the primacy effect and recency effect. Okay, first and foremost, the first item in a list is initially distinguished from previous activities as important, which is the primary effect, and may be transferred to long-term memory by the time of recall. Items at the end of the list are still in short-term memory, which is the recency effect at the time of recall. Okay, so in short, the primacy or recency effect is the observation that information presented at the beginning, which is the primacy, and which is the recency of a learning episode tends to be retained better the information presented in the middle. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you. I will pass my next point to my friend.
Greetings to Dr. Mondi and my fellow friends. My name is AMELIA and I am a student from Part 3 AM2283E, and I will explain another point of the differences between the primacy effect and the recency effect. So my point is, remember, for primacy effect, my point is remember first information. For recency effect, my point is remember last information. So first of all, the primacy effect means that people tend to remember the first information presented about something better than information presented later. For example, let's say that your first awareness of a product was during a segment of a morning show where they lauded how well the product worked. If you were paying attention, that information is more likely stick in your head. This product is good and does the job well. Then information you find out later on about the product. However, for the primacy effect, the recency effect means that people tend to remember the most recent information presented about a product above all else. So, let's say you interested that the product isn't all it's cracked up to be. At this point, the recency effect is on top. So, your impression about the item is negative. Later on, you thought you hear a few of positive reports which match well with the first thing you heard, the primacy effect, and the recency effect, the last thing you heard, are both telling you the product is good. So you are very likely to think that the product is good. Marketing people use this all the time. They want to control the first message you hear about a product and make sure it's a positive message. They also want to control the last message you hear about a product before you make a buying decision. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Syakirah and I will present the next point. Okay, for example, the primary effect is there's a situation where the series of prizes are mentioned for when we playing a game. So we mostly remember the first few prizes given will be given to the most will be given by according to the most important prizes first, and then go down to the less important prizes. And then for the recency effect, for example, we are so close with this one particular friend, and then there's one incident happened that we become strangers where because of a fight or whatsoever, and suddenly because of that we become not in a good term. That's why this will make us change our opinion about her because of the recent fight, and this is the recency effect bias. Thank you.